But if we'll wait for more people to come in here, or if we'll start it at 6 on the dot, what do you think, Susanna?
I think with the sisters, just give them a few minutes physically to get in, all right.
Okay.
I see no harm perhaps to leave people that are online enter into the room so that they know, it is happening or whatnot.
And they were
I
waiting
think,
for the sisters.
and
They'll immediately be cool about that.
they will. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Will I let the participants in now online, and then maybe if you just want to like mute yourselves until we start here, I'll give
Yeah.
you a thumbs up when we're starting or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Perfect. I'll let everyone in now.
Hi, and welcome as you're all entering into the room this evening. So we're going to have this recorded. So I hope that's okay with all of you. Anybody that doesn't want to be on screen can come off the screen if they like, and they can still hear the seminar. We're just waiting because this is online and it's physically on site in Nano Nagle Place as we speak as well. So we're just waiting currently for a few of our visitors to arrive to Nano Nagle Place and get seated, and then we're going to start the actual talk, if that's okay. Just to let you know.
Okay, Nanette, Stefan, I think we're okay to join or to start now.
I'm having technical abilities.
Okay.
My video suddenly is not working.
Oh, just hit video at the bottom and it should come up.
It says cannot start video. Failed to start video camera. That's so weird. It was working a minute ago.
Stefan, I think you're logged in twice from what I can see. So I can see your video on one of them, and then there's another one that has no video.
Okay.
Okay. While we're doing this, I want you all to know we did test this 20 minutes ago. So we
did exactly.
As you know with Zoom, give us a minute or two and we'll get rid of the gremlins.
One moment, please. Okay. Can you hear me now?
We can, and we can hear you mono, which is much better than the stereo again, Stefan. So I'm going to just start off this evening. First and foremost, a huge welcome to everybody online and physically on site in Nano Nagle Place. I want to extend a warm welcome to everybody who is joining us this evening. It's a huge celebration for us this year as we're marking 250 years of the Presentation Sisters and the enduring legacy of Nano Nagle. So this evening offers us a huge opportunity to reflect on Nano's vision, her courage and compassion, and the charism that continues to inspire and guide people around the world today. We're delighted to welcome two special guests, Stefan. He's an acclaimed artist, author, and illustrator whose work explores faith, spirituality, and the human experience. Stefan will share the story behind I Am Nano Nagle, the beautifully illustrated children's book that brings Nano's remarkable life and legacy to a new generation. We're also honoured to welcome Nanette, a dedicated presentation associate and passionate advocate for Nano Nagle's charism. Through her ministry and outreach, Nanette helps share the vision of justice, compassion, and hope with all communities across the globe. So wherever you're joining us from this evening, a huge thank you to you all for being part of this celebration, and we look forward to an inspiring and enriching time for the next 45 minutes or so. So I'll let Nanette take the stage. Thanks again to all of you, and enjoy the session.
Good morning, or should I say good day, based on the various time zones that you are throughout the world. Suzanne, Stefan and I were last at Nano Nagle Place in September 2023, and it is so good to be with all of you today, to be part of the 250th celebration of the founding of the congregation. When we were there, we so enjoyed the hospitality of all of you. Amazing. Especially a couple of shout outs, Sister Mary Quinn at Ballygriffith, your CEO, John Smith, and your heritage person extraordinaire, Susanna Ahern. For those of you who have not visited this place, it is a must if you are in Ireland. And also, congratulations on your July 2025 National Museum accreditation. Stefan and I collaborated on this as we have been so moved by Nano Nagle and the worldwide presentation community. And now, as with all gatherings of faith, let us begin with a prayer. Stefan? So you need to unmute and, do we need to make him co-host again since he joined?
Again. Oh yeah. Get here.
There we go.
Okay. Lady become lantern. Privileged Nano, Honora Nagle, Miss Nagle, beggar, and finally, Sister Saint John of God. Drawing from the deep well of love, gather her wealth, her health,
heart, soul, to be a living lantern of learning, joy, healing, and hope, contemplative in action, transforming Cork, transforming herself into lantern light.
So greetings all. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Stefan Salinas, and then of course here with Nanette Miller, and we're going to go over what made this book to be, what came this book to be. There were a lot of different factors into it, and the first one is, I would call it the monster in the room. I know we probably don't want to talk about the monster in the room, but the monster is the keeping today's world anxiety monster from eating us alive. I don't know if you've noticed, but the past several years, things have gotten a little crazier and crazier in the world, and we feel a little overwhelmed. But God gives us different gifts, things that we can do. Nanette, she has been helping the Presentation Sisters a lot, so focusing some positive healing energy in that direction. And then she approached me, so there's Nanette and I, with this idea of a Nano Nagle book. And at the time I said, Nano who? I don't know who this is. So here we are. Anyway, here we are fighting this big monster here. So slide. So the setting also, Nano Nagle came to the west coast of America in 1854. Settled there, well, not now herself, but the Presentation Sisters. And then, I don't know, 100-something years later, Nanette was taught by the sisters and influenced by them in a positive way. And,
I think you're giving away my age, but that's okay.
Which what?
You're giving away my age, but that's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it was like 200 years later or something. And then we also knew Sister Cleta Harold, a presentation sister. Now, in the 1980s, she was a pastoral associate at Most Holy Redeemer Church. So basically, she was like the vice president of the church. And this is the church, Most Holy Redeemer, that Nanette and I attend. And she and Father Tony McGuire, during the AIDS crisis, transformed the former convent across the street into the first AIDS hospice. And there she is on the left. And Nanette and Olga are both presentation associates, and there we are at Nano Nagle Place in 2013. And so I had to get to work. I don't know, you may not notice, but I'm not a female, I'm not a nun, I'm not a priest or a monk, and I'm a convert to this religion, and I'm not Irish, and up until this recently, I was never in Ireland. So I felt I had a little catching up to do, so I read all I could about Nano herself, and looking up visual references, stuff to the history and the setting. And then I got down to getting the idea of what the book's going to look like. Children's books have usually set numbers of pages, and so I set it on 48 pages, and then went to the different beats of her life, you know, important milestones and stuff. We're going to talk about the legacy at the end. So I start with the little thumbnail sketches, and then I did some notes on what the book was going to talk about in each 2-page spread. Show that to Nanette, went over that. Then I wrote the full text, and then had her proofread it and go over it, as well as some of the sisters. And then I have a proofreader in Texas that I work with. It's called a mock book, when you finally put all the text with the drawings. And then I was kind of wondering what the style was going to be, you know, besides my own style. I wanted to have a sense of history, to be detailed, very colorful, interesting, have some weight to it, because this was a real life. And so I drew upon some influences: Peter Sis, Tommy de Paula, Demi, who did this beautiful book on Mother Teresa, and medieval illuminated manuscripts.
So what Stefan was trying to do was to find sources of illustrations that told a story, not just like a portrait, but something that you could tell a story within an artistic style.
And some other influences around that time I was studying, I ran into 2 different paintings, both coincidentally from 1931, not sure why. One by Felix Nussbaum and the other one by Diego Rivera. And also, I went to a retro movie theater and just happened to see Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. And I'm not sure why, but for some reason, I was just dancing in the street afterwards. I was like, that's it. The way he did the style with the mix of models and letters and maps and people. So I might get me in trouble to be comparing a book on Nano Nagle with the Dracula movie, but there's your Easter egg, number 1. The materials I used are a mix of a black ink, colored pencil, crayons. Yes, professional artists can still use crayons, and acrylic on different colored paper. And I wanted to play a bit with the colored paper. So the more earth tone stuff are for the poor and disenfranchised, more muted tones. And then the bolder papers were for the wealthy and affluent. And they're separate at first, but then they start blending later on. And once you read the book, you can start seeing that happen. So yes, as I said, I needed to look for some visuals, as this is a visual book. And thanks for Nano Nagle Place. They have an excellent website that also you can tour the museum and see all these bits. So that was a lot of my research, actually. So on the lower left, there's a stool that Nano would carry when she went from school to school. There's the actual stool. I'll put that in there. On the lower right, there's a chalice that could be taken apart. During the penal laws, during the restricted time of the Catholics in Ireland, they were not allowed to pray publicly. They would have to go out into the forest and the woods and hide. And if any British authorities came over, they didn't want it to look like they were using a chalice. So they would take it apart. So it just looked like random pieces of silver. So at the bottom there, there's they'd call a rock altar or outdoor mass.
Mass rock.
And so I thought I'd give a little cameo to a priest that Nanette and I know. Here is Father Donald Godfrey. He's
Our
helped out.
favorite Jesuit from Cork. Our favorite Jesuit from Cork.
Yes,
Notice
he's
the
from
priest has
Cork,
the-
Ireland. So who's writing this story here? Someone above. Of course, I had to see what do these people wear in the 1700s. So I'm looking at hats that the men would wear. Early in Nano's life, she would go to these exquisite balls. So they would wear these fun wigs and great dresses. And then she became more religious, and so I had to see what she wore through those years. Early on, she joined a convent, a cloistered convent, where they stay inside the abbey, and there's her taking a veil. The lower left, there's her bonnet that she was famous for wearing, but it's more stylized, the artist's interpretation there. But later you see, as in the upper right, there's the bonnet more historically accurate. And the center bottom, there's a painting that we know that she actually posed for later on in her life there. So, and again, Nano Nagle Place, you guys, they had an exhibit of all the timeline of all the different habits and veils that they wore through the years. So I could draw from that. Upper left, we have a little girl it's either India or Bangladesh, I forget, but she's being taught by some of the presentation sisters. She's a person of today. So she figures into the book. And then the buildings. There is a talk of construction. She helped build schools and convents. So I had to see, what does that look like? How is a cottage constructed? On the left here, we have a Menominee Castle. There was a few castles in the wealthy Nano estate that she grew up in. And one castle, she and her siblings were taught by a teacher, in secret, of course. The bottom, we have Old St. Finbarr's Cathedral. That's how it looked in the 1700s, so it figures into the book. Speaking of buildings, there is a tradition in art, especially Catholic art, of there'll be some saints, and maybe they helped build a church or a monastery, and they'll be standing with a model of it. So I thought it'd be neat to have Nano standing, holding a little model of the first convent. She's also in the center holding the model of the first cottage that she rented as a school. Now it's a dirt floor. It's a very humble setting. There is a tradition in the 1600s, 1700s of these elaborate doll houses. Now, unlike today where they're toys, the wealthy people would sometimes have a dollhouse made to sort of show like a small version of all their possessions, all their illustrious things. So here I turn it a little bit. Here's Nano proudly showing a little dollhouse for the first very humble classroom, but there's the wealth is the knowledge that she's sharing with the children. At the bottom, we have another a priest and a woman that helped fund his cause. He opened some schools in France, and that's one of his. Why is that in the book? Well, you'll have to find out. On that first presentation convent, it's no longer there. They built a larger one after that. So I just had look and find any kind of writings on what it looked like. So there wasn't much, but they said it had a small chapel and had 8 hearths, 12 windows, and then there was a linny. There was an open-sided outdoor building for supplies to the side of it. So, but then she made the first Ursuline convent. Well, that was I think before she made the first Ursuline convent. Was that before or after that she made the Ursuline convent? 1771 is what she made.
Only before, yeah.
Yeah, so that was before. So now you'll see in the picture, it has 5 floors, and then the lower right, my drawing just has 3 floors. Well, it originally just had 3 floors, so they added a couple floors years later. And now, unfortunately, I didn't go to Ireland yet when I was writing this book, so I had to be like a drone and fly over with Google Maps and Google Earth, and that's how I figured out what that would sort of look like. Then we have maps. What did Europe look like at the time? And Nano Nagle Place, they have a large map in their museum. You can see that also online. And what map are we talking about with Nano Nagle Place is Nano would walk to all the different schools that she opened and teach at them every day. And Nanette and I and Olga walked this route, and we had to stop, a few times for coffee at least.
I was amazed that Nano was doing it twice a day, and we had to take a car back after we went one way. So that lady could walk.
And we weren't even teaching anybody. And what's in that classroom? Well, along with reading, writing, arithmetic, and religion, the kids were also, the girls were taught embroidery, and the boys were taught ship sail making. And so I had to figure out what that all looked like. And usually instead of using paper, they would have little chalkboards they would use. And here's one of the ships she sailed a couple of times in her life. Along with being an artist and writer, I also have a day job. And so during the low times of my day job for hours, I was practicing to write Nano Nagle's writing. And so there's a lot of it online. A lot of her letters are online. So for a small fee, if you want me to forge a document in Nano's name, just kidding, just kidding. And then,
I do want to say one of the highlights of our trip to Nano Nagle Place was we did get to go into the archives and actually see documents that Nano signed. And in those days, normally you would have your attorney sign, but Nano was so well educated that she actually signed a lot of the leases and bank documents. So the archives are just amazing there. And that's where a lot of these photos are. Stefan?
Yeah. And then they also have a picture of, and I think you actually have it, one of her rosaries. And I had another rosary in the hand, but then when I saw that online, I thought, oh, I need to give her her own rosary. These were very small ones that could be easily hidden from the British authorities. So now I'm going to show you a couple of examples of some pages. And now this isn't a book of all text, so it's a mix of visuals and text. So the art has to tell half the story, or at least I believe it does. So you can help with the writing, the visual style of drawing, colors, composition. So here we have a 2-page spread. This is when Nano's a youth. She decides to become a student of religious life, a novice, in a cloistered abbey of nuns. She's learning how to be a nun. And they're focusing on God. And but then she thinks, well, Jesus, he walked among the poorest of the poor. He shared meals with people on the margins, with the outcasts and the oppressed. And so outside we have a huddled elderly lady on the ground there. And the sketching style is rougher, and it's dark and cold. It's got the cool blue, whereas they're in the warm beige, and it looks a little more elaborate. Woodwork, there's a big contrast. So the details, all the other women are, their eyes are down their prayer books, but her thoughts are elsewhere. So we see her looking in the direction of the outside world. And she has a white veil, as a novice would have. Well, outside, the elderly woman on the ground, she has a white kerchief, a headscarf. So in a way, I'm sure she's wondering, maybe I could be outdoors one day on the ground, or maybe that's someone I know. Now, Jesus on the cross there, he's blue, same blue as the outdoors. So where is his world, you know? Here's a very different page. This is later on in the book. In 1777, they finally took their vows as Presentation Sisters, and their first convent was created. So on Christmas, they had a Christmas Day feast to celebrate this. So I wanted this to be like the most beautiful, most delicious, joyous page of all. So I got it very colorful and some details. Again, at Nano Nagle's place, they have some setup to show what it would look like during a Christmas feast. So they have this Epiphany cake. So I took that there. They'll have a little creche, a nativity, with some orange peels hanging from little holly. So I had that there. I read that they probably had a mull wine, and then probably a beef stew. For the border, I put a nice lace work. Now, the sisters were not teaching lace work yet, but some years later, they started teaching lace work. And there's no mention of musicians, but come on. I mean, you know, a feast.
I was going to say, Stefan, when we were in Ireland, you guys love music, whether it's in the pub or a party. So we knew there would have had to be music at the Christmas feast.
Yeah. And there's other symbolism here. Well, now it's going to be 10 years before she passed away after this feast, but the book, it's just a few more pages. So I thought I'd throw the Last Supper because she's you know, she's doing Christ's work. We're following his example. And so there she is in the center of this long table. Now she is standing and serving. We are not asked to be served, but to serve. And then here's another Easter egg, something no one will get, but I'll tell you so you can tell your friends that read the book. Near the beginning, we have the outdoor mass, and it is a silver chalice, a silver cup that holds the blood of Christ, the wine. But I had it white and blue to sort of stand out on the page. And then fast forward to that feast. Well, I thought, why don't I use that white and blue again? So I have her with a carafe that is a white and blue toit. Shortly after that, we talk about how she opened a book for elderly women. And there's one that she's serving. And then again, a covering, it's this blue toit. And then on her deathbed scene, she's got the blue toit again. So it's almost like we're a vessel for the Lord. And then I'm now going to talk with visual books, at least for me. I think of them as like a song or like a movie where there can be a flow of imagery that helps also tell the story. So here's an example on the title page. It's I Am Nano Nagle, and we're like these people at a museum looking at this woman from the 1700s. Who is this? You know, you turn the page, and now that illustration comes to life, and she starts speaking to us. I see you're looking at my portrait. And then she's going to tell us the story of her life. Now in this is based on an actual illustration where she's holding out a book because she, of course, was a teacher. In the book, I put in the next 2 pages of the book, very meta. So it's a book within a book. We're going into the story of her life. And we have there on the right page at the bottom, there's a toddler Nano flanked by her parents. Fast forward later on in the book, and we have this girl of today, and she's with her mother and one of the presentation sisters. And yes, as they mentioned before, we then launched the book in 2023, and there was Sister Mary Quinn, Sister Mary Deneen, Sister Samira Gill, and others were very welcoming. And there was Jessica Call there at the time, Suzanne, of course, and John Smith. They were all very welcoming to us. And it was a wonderful dream come true to then finally, you know, go to the place and meet people that are still part of this legacy, and go into the archives as Nanette. Excuse me. Wow. We're all like you know, and following her path, as she mentioned. We also visited her birthplace in Ballygriffin, Ireland. And one of the mass rock altars that is still present ever since back in the
Sister Mary Quinn took us after dinner, and if you've ever driven with Sister Mary Quinn, we got there in 3 minutes because she doesn't believe in speed limits. But I have to say, it was one of the most touching places to actually see a mass rock. We were able to cross over the river and actually touch it, and it was probably one of our highlights, right, Stefan?
It really was. It was. Oh, and now we'll read a short excerpt. Just whet your palate. So here's when Nano is still, she's a teenager, and she's starting to go to these fancy balls and stuff. And so let's go. So here she is. She says, after our schooling, Anna and I moved in with relatives to the exciting city of Paris. What a lavish lifestyle we lived.
The fashions, the food, the entertainment. Did I mention the fashions? I so loved being dressed up in fancy gowns and wigs and attending balls where we would dine and dance the night away. Early one morning, returning from yet another long, jubilant night, a sight shocked me. It tore open my heart.
Huddled outside of a church, a poor family shivered in the cold, waiting for the first mass of the day. This moment in time stayed fresh in my memory for years.
Word traveled from home that our dear father had died, so Anne and I returned to Ireland. Papa gave so much of his heart to our family and to the community. We cried and cried.
I had just bought a bolt of the finest silk and buried my face in its softness, seeking comfort in something that would never give me grief. I dreamt of the dress I could have made with it, beyond beauty. The next day, it had vanished from the trunk.
Nano, my sister admitted, I saw a poor family in the street, so I sold that silk and brought them food and clothing. I know you will understand. Understand, I was livid. But yes, Anne was more sensitive to the plight of the poor. I was so angry, but I saw the goodness in her actions. Yes, Anne, I will accompany you on your walks in the dark, dingy streets. I said this with trepidation, nervously stepping into the world beyond fine furnishings. I left my stylish shoes and gown at home.
And now let's see just a little 1-minute video trailer of this book. Oh, of course. Oh, you can. Well, we'll talk about that a little later, where you can order it. But it's of course at Nano Nagle Place. So let's see if I can get this to play. Let me get the video separately. All right.
I see you are looking at my portrait with curiosity. As it is stated on the plaque to the right, I was born Nano Nagle. Step closer, and I will share with you the story of my life. I Am Nano Nagle. Written and illustrated by Stefan Salinas. Commissioned by Presentation Associate Nanette Miller.
I think we lost some of the audio, but we did have an Irish. Yes, we did have an Irish actress with some great Irish music, and that was sort of the run-up of that. But it is important. In Great Britain, Nano Nagle Place is the official distributor of the book, and they have a great supply on hand. In the United States or Canada, you can get it on Amazon on a 1 or 2 basis. If you do want to get more than 10 books, then we can arrange a discount for using it for teaching or a presentation. So that's the background of the book. And we'd love to put it open for questions. But one thing, I noticed some of you popped on a little late. This has been recorded and will be on the website so that you can look at the whole presentation at your convenience. And we'll now open it up for questions. And I don't know if you could maybe unmute yourself and raise your hand or something, because we're on more than one page. We'll try and get you on that if there's any questions. There doesn't have to be questions, but if anyone has any comments or something, we'd love to hear it. So from Dana to everybody, she thought it was such a lovely, well-made book, so much knowledge and attention to detail. She learned so much from it. Thank you.
Hello.
Oh,
Can you hear me? Kim Kelly, greetings from Newfoundland, Canada. We have sisters on watching from the Mother House, and there's a few associates, Pauline Lake Divine and Brad Doyle and myself watching. Fabulous book. Great. I know that we're thinking of how we might use this book. I can see Pauline's head turning, even though we're in different houses. And so wonderful. It's a great book to read to kids in schools and different things. So lots of great ways to learn about Nano from this book. Fabulous job to all involved. Congratulations. Can't wait to see it and can't wait to buy one.
Thank you, Kim. And I will say we did choose graphic novels because not just kids, but the young adults under 40 or whatnot tend to read in a graphic novel format. And for those of us who may have lost our glasses, the graphic format is good as well. Go ahead.
Kids under 100, I would say.
To hear Madha of Northern India, you have a
good evening,
comment?
everyone. Thank you for such a marvelous book. And we really appreciate the drawings, the writing and the way it's been created, for any child would just love to open this book and read it and absorb so much. And it's been done from your heart and soul, and we really appreciate it. North India province is in awe of both of you and the entire team that has worked so hard. Thank you so much. It's marvelous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I should say that Stefan is working on another book, and it's about sisters worldwide and various types of sisters congregations and whatnot. And so that should be coming out in the next year or so. But Stefan has the sisters in his heart, not just a presentation, but of many. And
that was really helpful with that. In fact, we did a small mural in Nano Nagle Garden that was just opened a year ago in San Francisco here. So,
and I have to say too, the people at Nano Nagle Place were so good in getting us information and sharing. And this was something that was developed during COVID, where we had to stay home, which probably helped that we were able to do it in under a year. And just having the resources were available, really wonderful. And I guess before I turn it over back to Una, are there any other comments? And I appreciate all the comments in the chat room from all our presentation community. So I will now turn it back to Uma in Nano Nagle Place.
Hello. I think Susanna has something to say as well. So I'm
Okay,
going to
very
leave it
good.
to her for now.
Hi guys, sorry I was just away from my desk for a second. I just want to thank you all for attending the book
Catch your
launch.
breath. Yes.
I know. It's 3.5 acre site, Nanette. So yeah. So I just want to thank you all for attending this evening. I hope you enjoyed Nanette and Stefan and everything that they brought you through. And suffice to say, have a great evening, a great day. And please God, we'll see each other again. Take care. God bless.
thank you so much. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Near and
everybody.
far. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night. Goodbye. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thanks,
Thank you
everyone.
for attending.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you so
Nanette, we've
much.
got to visit all these places now.